know exactly why they were fighting, but if I learned anything from the fight, it was my dad gave the shirt off of his back to someone else, which was kind of cool. Um, I remember not long after that, some people had came to our house, and the dog like went crazy and like bit this like whole top layer of skin off of this guy's hand that was at the front door, and he was all mad talking about he was gonna call the game warden and all kinds of crazy stuff on the dog. But I guess the dog was just like, look, dude, I don't know you, and I'm protecting my family, so like fuck off, I'm gonna bite you. And that's what he did. I remember that we were watching someone's dog. It was a German Shepherd, actually. We were watching it for someone while they went on vacation, and their vacation ended up being they were never coming back. So we had their dog, and it was a female, and we also had the Dalmatian, which was my aunt and uncle's dog. Um, they had split up, and he had moved back to his hometown, and he couldn't take the dog, and she couldn't keep it, so we ended up keeping their dog too. So anyway, so the Dalmatian and German Shepherd decided that they were gonna fall in love and have babies, and I remember us having like 7 little puppies, and they were all so cute, and I would play with them, and they all had names, but I don't remember what I named them. I just remember coming home from school one day and all of them being gone, and I was upset because I didn't understand why we had to give all of them away. I understand now, like, you can't keep every dog. Um, but as I got older, I was actually told the story of what actually happened to the puppies. I guess some bright idea my father had. He actually got someone to come and get them. And I don't know if they shot them in the head or they cut their heads off or whatever it was that they done, but they killed all of them and threw them in the dumpster. Um, Not sure why that happened or why they couldn't have been given away like normal people do, but 7 innocent little puppies died for no reason at all, and I don't get it. But anyways, the mother to the dog would follow us to the end of the driveway to get on the school bus. And my brother and I were standing at the end of the driveway one day, and just out of nowhere, a transfer truck's coming down 360, and the dog runs out in the road and like splattered everywhere right in front of us. So my dad had to call the people whose dog it was supposed to be and tell them that the dog had died. Um, at least that's how I remember it. Um, I do remember my dad took a dog out in a field one time and shot it, and I still don't know why he did that. But that's what happened. Um, it wasn't long after that we ended up moving in with my aunt and my 3 cousins into a trailer in Burkeville. And me and my brother and my oldest cousin Melissa, we all shared a room, and the 2 youngest ones shared a room, and my mom and I took turns sleeping in the 3rd bedroom or on the couch. This is actually where I was introduced to Matchbox 20. Hi. Um, there was a computer in the kitchen in like a corner, and my aunt and mom would play the Matchbox 20 CD. And I guess being a kid, we picked up on whatever it was the adults were doing and listening to, and so it became like an all-time favorite. I actually have the Matchbox 20 CD now. Um, but I remember we were all outside playing one day, and my brother decided that it would be cool to smash Matchbox cars with a hammer, and in the process of him doing it, he slings back too high and he hits himself in the back of the head with the hammer. So now he has two scars, one from me throwing the cement or concrete at his head, and now one from the hammer. He didn't even cry though. He was just like, I just hit myself in the head with a hammer, I'm bleeding. And that was basically it. We had a BB gun, and we would pull it around the yard in a sleigh. And one day the BB gun went missing, and I don't even think we ever found it. And I know that's a weird random memory to remember, but I remember that happening. I also remember that my next door neighbor had the same exact bike that I did, and I had wrote my name on the seat of my bike, and her bike had broke, and so she decided that she was going to switch bikes with me, and I wasn't very happy about it. I found out, and I was little, but I was mad, so I'm like, I'm going to whoop her ass, and this, that, and the third, and I think really what happened is I kind of just like went over and like threw her bike at her and took mine back, and that was the end of it. Weird, random, but I remember all of that happening. I also remember that my mom and my aunt had like the same exact car. It was a tan Cavalier, maybe 4-door. I don't know, but my dad and his brother actually lived in Pulaski County at this time, and so they would meet halfway to drop us off, so we could go spend the weekends with our dads. We would always stop at this little 7-Eleven store and get like these little pizza rolls, and they were so good. I wish I had one now thinking about it. And it is lunchtime, so I'm kind of hungry. But anyways, we would go to my dad's on every other weekend, and sometimes we would meet my grandmother, and she would pick us up and take us to our dad's house. We would usually meet in Bedford at the McDonald's, and she would always buy us lunch, and I always got left out, and I don't care what anybody says, because that's what happened. She always said, everybody's going to eat the same thing, we're not having any special request, and everybody ate regular cheeseburgers, and I didn't. I only ate ketchup on my cheeseburgers, and I had to scrape onions and mustard off of a cheeseburger, and I would gag sometimes eating it, and sometimes I just wouldn't eat it at all. I would just eat the fries, and everybody else would eat burgers, and I would still be hungry because she refused to just say only ketchup on the cheeseburger. She had her reasons, I guess. But one weekend we were at my dad's, and we would go to the cemetery in Pulaski, but there was like a little dip in the road, and it was water, and we would get out and we'd run around barefooted, and we would try and catch crawdads. And we all did it, and it was so fun. They're weird little creatures, but I remember getting in the water in a bathing suit and running around with cups and jars trying to catch these little things, and sometimes we would take them home, and of course they'd die, but that's what we did. I remember me and my brother used to catch bees in jars, and one time we caught the bees in the jar, and my dumb ass dropped the jar, and it broke, and I had a skirt on, and the bees flew right on up my skirt and stung me everywhere. Let me tell you about pain. It was awful. Of course, my brother laughed because he thought it was funny. Asshole. But I remember we lived in a farmhouse in Dublin, I believe it was. And I remember the police coming to our house one time to get my dad, and we really didn't understand why they were getting him at the time. But later on in life, it was because he felt the need to get a taxi cab for some odd reason. And when it was time to pay the cab driver, my dad took all the money and he ran. But that's what happened. I'm gonna have to cut this video short because I'm at work and my boss just got here and he's gonna start yelling and telling me to do this, that, and the third. So stay tuned because there's still so much more to know when it comes to the weekends at my dad's in the mountains. Please subscribe and hang in there with me. I'm going to tell you everything. You don't want to miss it.